Hello.
Hello, Michael. Michael McCormick. This is Rob Slim.
Oh, yeah.
How are you?
Hi, Rob. How are you?
Great, Michael. How are you? How was your Thanksgiving?
Oh, it was interesting. It was just my wife and I. We canceled with everybody else, and she cooked anyway and then delivered food to their homes.
Oh, that's cool.
Oh, that's awesome. That's awesome.
Yeah, it was kind of amazing.
Yeah.
But it was good, just close to home.
Yeah.
It was nice. Yeah.
I just spent it with my parents. My mom cooked, and it was great. It was great.
Yeah. It may turn out to be certainly a safe and probably quite gratifying Thanksgiving. Yeah.
Did the family tip your wife when she delivered?
Yeah.
Oh yeah. Right. Oh yeah.
She came home with tons of bottles of wine. And
Yeah.
Yeah. Right. Oops, missed that part. Yeah.
Oh, I know we had spoken, Michael, a little in email, and you. I wanted to ask: have you ever considered having a show of your own, being so talented?
Oh, that's an interesting thought. I don't know. How do you put that together?
I didn't know. How does that, like, from being a puppeteer? How does that? Is that a whole nother level? Having a produced show?
Yeah, I don't know. I producing my own show, my own puppet show over the years was a tremendous effort, and of course it was all live all the time, so it was exhausting and gratifying, fulfilling, all of those things at the same time. It definitely gave me huge advantages in terms of joining the entertainment world, and it was really good at every level that way. But it was a tremendous effort. Tremendous. It took me over a year and a half to build my puppets alone.
wow.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's what I was gonna say. For you, to get your own televised show, would that be a whole nother animal at that point?
Oh, it would be. It would be. Puppeteers there are more of them now than I think ever in my lifetime before.
Wow, that's surprising to hear too.
Yeah, but it might be interesting to have some kind of communication line, other than Pinterest or whatever, for those people to sort of focus their attentions. But it would be pretty interesting to do that. Yeah.
I got some questions about the puppet show that you produced. You had to hire puppeteers for that, correct?
For my own show?
Yeah.
No, it was my son and I, and that was it.
Oh, okay,
He
cool.
was doing the outside bit, and I performed all the other puppets myself. Yeah.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, it's kind of a tricky show to learn to do it.
You can work multiple.
Judy is.
You can work multiple puppets at once.
Well, yeah, two and sometimes 2.5, so to speak.
Oh,
It's
okay.
the one puppet be carrying something or something like that. Another puppet.
Oh.
But yeah, definitely keeps your hands and your brain busy.
Yeah, I
Sort
would
of doing multiple, voices and trying to and the only thing, there's no way to write a script for that type of stuff. I mean, it's a really quite impromptu, improvisational kind of stuff. But because you're doing things that saying, and the puppets are performing in ways that are and particularly appeal to an audience, and that audience does not always have the same focus. So you have an opportunity to actually work on characterization and developing the puppets and what they might say if somebody yells something. And in England, there's a tremendous amount of interpersonal sort of what do you want to call it, communication going on between the audience and the puppeteer in the tradition of the pantomime. So there's a play back and forth between audience and puppets.
So similar.
It keeps your mind jumping.
Similar to doing stand-up comedy, then.
yeah,
Right?
almost where you're interacting right then and there.
That's right, and you're responding to a kibitzing audience all the time. If you're, those kinds of situations.
Yeah, heckler or
you
any
have
of
to-
that. Yeah, that's amazing.
Hey,
to hear.
have you ever had to deal with hecklers?
Oh yeah, I mean often. Yeah,
Wow.
we performed at the Magic Castle, my son and I, and
Oh, that's awesome.
were accepted for membership and stuff.
Oh.
And my son was only about 10, 11 at the time, and there was heckling, and he handled it beautifully. Wow. It just was amazing.
I was wondering that too, because like every now and then my sons will, they'll express an interest in like, I want to start a YouTube channel, and just me knowing the kind of people that have attacked us on there, like part of me is like, I want to protect you. I don't want you doing that, but like, it's crazy. It's crazy like that. Your son would have had to deal with that at that age,
and it was kind of good. There were some very famous magicians in the audience that night. And Goldfinger and Dove. I don't know if you know the magic world, but
a little bit.
Very good magician. And they sent a message back congratulating my son for the way he handled the audience,
Cool.
which I thought was terrific.
Yes,
I think he still has it.
Is there a lot of crossover between the magic and puppeteering? Like, do you practice, or your son knows any magic?
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah,
Cool.
I perform a few things in the little show that we did, so it crossed over between the magic world and the punch and judy. It always has, and you have to figure that it's an illusion itself. The puppetry.
Right.
yeah.
I mean, because people are relating these little figures, whatever the hell they are, with as though they were real. So it definitely is illusory in that sense. Yeah.
Yeah.
Cool.
I was going to ask
what
too.
I love about it.
Have you ever had something go horribly wrong at a show that you had to either recover from quickly or couldn't recover from?
Oh yeah, always. But I mean, the things that happen, that are absolutely magical, are more abundant. Let me say that it's much more positive than it is negative. I mean, there are negative moments, but I mean, you have to keep your wits about you. That's for sure. But it's with somebody working out front, sort of like Kukla, Fran, and Ollie. When Fran was outside talking to the puppets, that's sort of the role my son has as what they call the bottler, and he collects the money and does that part of the show. And it was very successful when he was little. I don't know if he's as successful now that he's this big guy. But he's not near as charming.
None of us are. No, we get too big. You can't market it.
Yeah,
the same.
too big for being cute.
Yeah.
Right.
Oh my God.
But yeah, it went on. We performed all the way through the making of Labyrinth in London. My son and I, every chance we had, we performed on the streets. So we were probably the most successful local Punch and Judy show at the time in London. So
That has to
it was
create
kind of
some of the greatest memories too. Like everyone has memories of their childhood. That's amazing. That's some cool. Really cool things.
We had. It's just, you have to understand, Mr. Punch gets up to some pretty evil stuff, and I'm in there putting the puppets away, and all of a sudden this little voice. My son came up and said, "There's a young lady out here who would like to have a word with Mr. Punch." And I said, oh, just a minute. I'll see if he's in, kind of thing. And so Punch comes up, obviously, and the little girl proceeded to interview him. And she started by saying, "Mr. Punch, why do you do it?" And this little girl she was probably about 7. And it was just amazing.
So cute.
You just gobsmacked. What do I say? Why does Mr. Why this beautiful little child is asking me, "Why do you do it?"
You have to explain yourself as a puppet. You have to have a whole backstory.
Exactly. It was just a rare moment.
Yes.
Why do you do it? This is after he's thrown the baby out the window and done
What-
a number of things.
What was his answer?
Yeah, what did Punch say?
Oh, yeah, it's. Punch does some. He starts out in the traditional show. The first thing he does is he sort of kicks a dog, and in England, that's like the height of terrible behavior. And the dog, of course, is biting his nose and hanging on, and that's when he gets outraged and kind of gets rid of the dog. And then the dog's owner, which is Scaramouche, from the old Commedia figures. And Punch resolves that situation by knocking his head completely off. So it's, and that's for starters.
That's just the beginning, yes.
Yeah, right. You can see that we have occasion with little old ladies chasing us down the street with their bumbershoot. There are people who don't appreciate the show and think we should have moved beyond it.
Yeah.
But I say it's in pretty good shape for a show that's probably at least 600 years old. So
yeah, I was gonna say too, Michael. I saw too on the internet that when you were on this when you were on the set of Jedi, you were actually injured, correct?
Oh God, yes, yeah, terrible injury kept me from doing puppets for over a year. Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah, I did a separation of the ligament on my left shoulder, and it was maybe the worst single thing that's ever happened to me. But yeah, I was still not working very well when I went on to Labyrinth after Jedi. But,
wow. Yeah, because I feel like that could be something that could maybe end a career as a puppeteer.
Oh yeah, God, yeah, it easily could have. Yeah. Yeah, and I've since had the shoulder replaced, which is a weird trip in itself. Both my shoulders have been replaced with stainless steel.
I was going to ask too. Yeah, what is the lifetime of puppeteering? What kind of toll does it take on the body? Because I'm sure it's different than a lifetime of working at a cash register or something like that.
Yeah. Well, I mean, one of the things, particularly with the Muppets, like Frank Oz or Jim, who's Davy Golds, those guys that at the top of the business, that they've had their vascular structure of their puppeteering arm, the one that's always aloft, and the veins structure in it is like twice the size of a normal arm. Wow. So they're pumping a lot of blood up into that arm.
Yeah, because I have friends too. One of my friends is a barber, and he just says the way that barbers stand, it affects your body differently.
Oh, yeah.
Kind of like lean forward and all.
Yeah.
So yeah, it's got to be a totally different thing.
Yeah. And you figure they don't make ergonomic puppets. Whatever it is, you got to hold it up there on your hand one way or another.
I don't want to hold my arm out straight for 10 minutes. Like that's got to be a lot of stress on the body.
Yeah. It can get pretty stressful. But, and, there's so many things happening at the same time where you're, remembering basic lines to move the story forward, what the puppet is doing, constantly being interrupted by kids in the audience. So it tends. I don't know how to describe it. I don't know another profession quite like it.
Yeah.
Or anything like it, for that matter.
Right.
But it's a strange thing. Let me put it that way.
I saw too. You spent 6 years in Ireland performing and lecturing on puppeteering, correct?
Yeah. Yes, I did. Yeah. I've been back about. I don't know. I've been back about 12, 14 years. Yeah, something like that. But yeah, I was there for 6 years, and working specifically, I was doing puppets at the National Wax Museum. But I knew there's a fellow who has my same last name, spelled exactly the same, everything, who is the aging professor of puppetry in the theater department at Trinity. So I went over and I did a couple of lectures, for him about Punch and Judy and stuff. But he's an active puppeteer as well, and so is his daughter. She does one of those famous Judy and Punch shows, the new feminist show.
Oh, they've changed it. It's got a whole new spin on it.
So is Judy the mean one in those?
I wish I could tell you otherwise, but I don't know of one of them that has been successful for any length of time.
Wow.
Punch is about dominant male behavior, and is its own criticism in doing that. It's obviously it's drawing to attention just exactly about male behavior, which is under attack at the moment.
Yeah.
And if you reverse that, it doesn't work for a female in that role. She just can't find herself evil enough to get up to Punch's standards.
Yeah, it's kind of like going back to like All in the Family. He was a racist, but it exposed how ignorant it was. It worked. It's that kind of thing. It works because that's what it is. That's a formula. And if you change it, it doesn't work.
Yeah.
Yeah, exactly that. Exactly. And it's so interesting, the speed with which these social conventions that we sort of get involved with, how quickly they seem to be changing in our own time. Yeah. And moving forward with these great leaps and bounds that I think are going to come back to haunt us.
Yeah.
We haven't allowed this stuff to sort of move at a comfortable speed, but we've been forcing the issues.
Yeah.
I mean, we're right in the middle of it at the moment, aren't we, with our leadership? But it's it's interesting.
It's like a fierce fight, and it's like, what's going to be the outcome? What's going to be the outcome? There's got to be a middle ground.
Well, and it's funny because everybody talks about outcome, which suggests a finality in this, and there isn't one. We're procedural, right? It's a procedure. We go forward with procedure. There's no end to it.
Yeah.
We just are endlessly bathed in human stupidity, and that seems to be the nature of history.
Yes.
If there's an opportunity to make a mistake, we will take it.
We'll do it, or someone else will. If we don't take it, someone else will.
That's it.
If the world wasn't like that, we wouldn't have any entertainment then.
Yeah.
Well, exactly.
I think of George Carlin.
It was like yesterday there were so many sort of forbidden issues to deal with that we couldn't handle socially, right?
Yeah.
Or didn't want to handle socially. And then bing bang, something goes click, and we've reversed tables on the whole thing, and all those issues become the popular issues of the moment. Yeah, it's fascinating to me the way the human behavior functions like that.
Yeah.
Last week it was unforgivable. This week it's our pride as creatures to have these wonderful abilities to do whatever.
That's it. I was thinking too of George Carlin, and one of his quotes that I loved was like, "Being born in America, you have a front row seat to the freak show. You really do."
That's it. Oh yeah, absolutely. Yeah, and I loved that. The whole P.T. Barnum period of that kind of wild, absolutely crazy stuff from showing the Fiji mermaid or the Burmese pinheads.
Yes.
But just one fraudulent event after the other, and his saying, there's a sucker born every minute, and thank God, because he made a fortune off it.
Absolutely.
And it's funny because we see that same kind of behavior right now with what's going on politically and the whole thing. You just think, 70 million people are weird.
Yep.
And so are the other 70 million. Yeah.
And so are the other 70, 80 million.
Yes.
Just depends purely on your perspective, doesn't it? It's crazy, but it's great subject matter for chuckling.
Yes.
Definitely.
It is. It's the ultimate comedy.
Definitely.
Ultimate comedy.
Yes.
I was going to ask too, Michael, does anywhere currently have a gallery of your work?
No, I'm not showing. Haven't for several years. I just have not been able to be in a situation to produce. And a year ago, here at my house, we've been out of the house for the last year. My studio was burned out, and lost a lot of puppets, and really traumatic. And I'm just now getting the the house back in shape. And
that's what I was going to ask. I was going to ask if, like, either your garage, attic, or basement was like just full, like a treasure trove of stuff.
Yeah, and one minute it was wonderful and attracted people and bemused them, and the next minute was just a pile of char. It was very sad.
Wow.
Very sad.
Yes. Oh.
But yeah, it's just shattering. At the same time, then you become sort of this great sage-like person saying, "Well, it was just material objects, just a bunch of crap anyway." So
yeah, but still, it was also also
anything to protect your soft spots.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh.
But it's great getting back to work. I was just working on a puppet today, as a matter of fact. So trying to put the Punch and Judy back together again. Whether or not I ever perform it, I don't know. But at least I'll get it physically put back together.
That, and it's great to just know that you could still do it. I feel like that's an accomplishment.
That's it. It becomes progressively more challenging as you get older. Obviously, not only are you hauling around a tremendous weight of that accumulates in a show like that, but. Yeah, and my son, when he was little, he sort of insisted on carrying everything, and I think he's done himself a terrible injury along the way. No. He's got sciatic and all kinds of little back problems. And I thought, well, I guess that's what you get if you sort of lugging a Punch and Judy show around.
So really, it was just you and your son that were doing the show together. You didn't have a crew or anything?
No, just the two of us. Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah.
That's awesome.
Yeah, and it was a fair-sized show, so it was very visible. So it was the stage made to look much bigger than it was. The hardware outside. If I was going to do cups and balls or some magic for all the magic gear would have to be out there.
Right.
But we never worked with electric equipment, so we never had to deal with amplification. So I don't know if I can still get that lung power up, particularly when people are probably going to be separating all the way out there. And you get a sizable audience that could be half a mile away.
Right.
Yeah. Oh my gosh.
6 feet apart.
Yeah.
But yeah, kind of amusing to watch how this goes at this point.
Yeah.
But I bought a sound system, so at least we have a sound system if we have to use it.
That's great, Michael.
But I'm intent on putting it back together. Yeah, definitely.
That's awesome. That's awesome to still see that drive in you. That's a great thing.
Oh yeah, it's true. It sounds kind of corny to say yes. Well, the Punch and Judy was the driving force in my creative life, but in fact it was. So I don't know what to say beyond that. It's whether it sounds corny or not, but it was the truth.
That's honest. As long as it's honest and genuine, that's not corny.
If you bring it back, is your son willing to do it with you again?
Yes, yeah.
That's
it's
awesome.
Sort of a lifelong agreement he and I have that if the show comes back together, he'll do his bit. Yeah, definitely.
No matter where he is.
Love it.
In life,
you owe me.
Oh yeah. I made your life.
Yeah, I made you.
Now you can pay me back. Right?
Michael, it's been.
But he's a great sport, and he does a great job with it too. Great job he does.
He must be. He sounds like it. Michael, thank you so much for talking to us again. We have to wrap it up though.
Yeah, and let me tell you what a joy this has been. Thank you very much. Great opportunity, and hopefully we can do more in the future.
I would love to. And we will definitely be in touch, Michael. Have a great night, my friend.
And you guys too.
Take
Thanks
care.
a lot.
No problem. Thank you.